Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we are talking about thrifting. So, I am a professional reseller. I sell out on eBay, Poshmark, and Depop. I just recently picked up Depop just to see how it would go. I love experimenting with my reselling business. I love finding things and seeing how they might sell, or running sales, or it's sending out crazy offers, whatever it may be. So I have a low cost of goods, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But my reselling history started over 20 years ago. I was listing my son's clothes that he had outgrown out on eBay. And at that time, eBay was the only thing. We had no cell phones. We didn't do anything there. It was all like take a picture, upload it to my computer, and then put it out listed for sale on eBay. I loved it. I love the thrill of the hunt. I love looking for things and then seeing how much they might be selling for. So everybody runs a reselling business different. That's not what I'm here to share with you, the hows, but I want you to have a little glimpse into my life and how I do my business. I love reselling. I love thrifting. I love touching the clothes. I love imagining where they might be going. And I like to imagine the style and bringing new life to someone's closet. It just brings me immense joy. I love clothes. I love fashion. I love being creative with fashion, even though I feel like I wear the same clothes over and over again. I want to get more creative with my style. And I love quality clothing. I look for linens. I look for silks. I look for wool. I am looking for more elevated fabrics and brands because there's so much fast fashion today and so much polyester. And I know there's a controversy over microplastics. And just think about all that polyester plastic that we're wearing and that is poisoning our bodies and poisoning the water. What I want to share with you today are my numbers from June, and they may not seem like a lot, but I'm sharing these with you because if you are older and maybe heading into retirement and are thinking about getting into thrifting and reselling, and you're wondering like what kind of money this could make you, I'm just going to share, some of my numbers and being real with you and what it really takes to get these numbers. And for the biggest thing that I found is to be consistent, consistent listings, consistent activity out on the platform really helps to plug in with the algorithms. That and a knowledge of brands. How I find out my information about brands is I go out on YouTube and I watch other resellers and seeing what they're picking up, seeing what they're selling. A lot of these resellers do videos of what sold, and I find those are so valuable for me because at least I have an inkling of what to be looking for. I've really gotten consistent with my listing. I'm really honing in on my reselling business again. Some of the newer things I've been doing is I've been sharing my listings on Pinterest just to get the listings more visibility, as well as I have an Instagram account for my Flair and Grace, which is the name that I use for my reselling business. I put my pieces out there, and does it drive traffic to my online platforms? I'm not really sure, but it gives me a creative way to express what I'm doing with my listings and the pieces that I find. So, and here are the numbers for June. I'm going to give you a little glimpse of what's been going on in July because business has really picked up. And what I really find is that the efforts I put in 1 month start to snowball, and I'll see increased sales in the next month. So, here's my June and some of my July numbers. Okay, guys, here we're gonna get into a little bit of how I keep track of my inventory. I have been keeping track in a spreadsheet since probably, I would say, 2019. And I really like it because it helps to track my numbers. It helps keep, end of the year for taxes when I have to submit numbers. It's just a lot easier to keep track of. So I do this in every sale. So every time I buy something, I list it here in the inventory, in my inventory tab. I put the date I purchases, where I've gotten it, and what my cost of goods are. So then I have it calculated across what I sold it for, the fees, any shipping I might have to pay, and then what my net profit per item is. And then every month, what I do is I keep track of that month on a separate tab, just so I know, like, how much am I making each month and how many items have I listed and what my average sale price after fees is going to be. So let's look at from me June, because this is when I really started to hyper focus back on my business. In June, I got a huge sale in June. I sold a Renee Dairy, Dehry dairy dress, and I sold that for $249 on Depop. And because Depop doesn't have any seller fees, they just have like a processing fee. So it's a lot more reasonable right now to be selling out on Depop. You have a better profit margin. So I picked this dress up for probably $1 and sold it for $249 on Depop. So that was a huge sale. My sales for June after fees and expenses, so after listing fees, after the cost of goods, was $373.37. I only sold 8. I listed 16 items in June. My average sale was $46.67, but I noted that I had that really huge sale. July was slow. I sold 10 items. I listed 28 items. My total sales after fees were cost of goods were $275.70. So my average sale price was $27.50. So, again, July is a slow month. They talk about summer slowdown, and it is true. But again, I kept listing. I listed 28 items in the month of July, and I'm really feeling the effects of it in August, because right now, how I'm sitting in August, I have 14 sales so far, which in my total sales after fees and cost of goods are $272.74. So that's only half the month. I have another, 15 days of selling. So if I keep that up, hopefully I have a, $500 a month that's take home after fees and cost of goods. So I would be really pleased with that number. That's how I keep track of my sales here in my spreadsheets. Let's see if there's anything else here. Here's my expense log. So every time I go to the thrift store, I just list, when I went, how much I spent, and then here is some expenses. We take public transportation off to the thrift store. So every time I go out on the bus, that's how I keep track of my sales and what's coming in. To get myself in the rhythm of doing consistent listing, I have a small goal of just 2 items a day. I want to build that up to 5, because I feel like the more I list, the more I can sell, right? But I go to a bin store, and we don't have a car, so we have to go down there on a bus. And I'm very particular about the kind of things that I pick up. I just don't want to pick up things to list, because I've done that in the past. And then I end up with all this inventory that's just sitting and not moving. So really, I list maybe 10 items a week, because I do like 2 items a day, Monday through Friday. So that's how I'm doing my business right now. And I just wanted to share that with you, just so you're thinking like, oh, is this reselling really worth it? I love doing it. It's a passion of mine. So to me, it doesn't really feel like work. Those are the numbers, and that's what I do for listing. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.